So we've all heard about it in the headlines. Bryce Harper got called to the majors. Alex Gordon got called to the majors. Mike Trout got called to the majors. What we don't hear about, though, is what exactly those players went through at the beginning of their careers in professional baseball. So today I'm going to give you some insight into the beginnings of a career for any Major League Baseball player. And who doesn't love baseball, right? So this is a great way to learn a little bit more about America's favorite pastime. I've learned what I know from having personal experience, as my brother has played in the minor leagues for the Texas Rangers for the last 3 years. And not only that, but my dad is constantly talking baseball, so I'm very familiar. And there are that occur for any player at the beginning of their career. And those are getting into the minors, signing a contract with a particular organization, and then that player working his way up through the minor leagues. And you can ask any player, and they're going to tell you that their ultimate goal is the majors. But the first and most important step is getting into key forces that are playing on a player's chances of getting into the minors, and the main one is the Major League Baseball Scouting Bureau. And MLB.com posted a question and answer session on the Scouting Bureau, which is an independent organization that the MLB hires to provide information on prospects or potential players to the major league teams. And they provide this information through a ranking system, and they give rankings or scores written as a scouting report, which I have one here, to categories like batting, speed, that's arm strength, power, and the defensive ability of the player. And the second half is them explaining why they got the score they did. And the higher the scores, the more notice they get, the more teams that are going to want them. And especially if you have the rankings on your side saying this guy is going to be a top prospect, it will dramatically increase your chances of getting drafted. And getting drafted is a major league organization selecting you to play for their minor league system. But as the Scouting Bureau can't give notice to every single player, if you don't get notice, you can still have a shot. You can attend a tryout camp, and the Scouting Bureau hosts them, and some individual major league organizations will host them themselves also. Or you can be offered a free agency, and a free agent is a player who is not bound by any contract, so any team can pick them up, have them try out, and offer them a position if they're good enough. But if you do get drafted, whichever team picks you is going to want to lock you in as their player. And that locking in of a player is done through a contract. And I interviewed my brother on the contracting process, as he's been through it. And a contract legally binds a player to an organization unless the player is traded or released, or their contract period is up. And initial contract periods are 7 years. But there is a clause called the Rule 5 that states after the 5th year of any minor player's contract is up, the organization has to specify their intentions with that player. And they do this through either signing them to the 40-man roster, which offers that player the protection, guaranteeing them a spot with the organization, or they can release a waiver on the organization, or on the player, which is like a notification of sort to other teams saying, if you want this player, you can have him, but they also specify a level that the player has to be played at if the new team wants to keep him on their organization. And the last thing they can do is they can release the player. If the team doesn't want to invest any more time or money in him, they just cut him loose. But before the Rule 5 even comes into play, the first 5 years of a player's career will be spent working his way up, provided he doesn't get released, which can happen. He will be working his way up the minor league system. And most minor league systems consist of 6 levels. And John Madden, a 2005 draft pick, has an online blog about, and then he has some descriptions of the minor leagues as well. And his descriptions are as follows. The lowest level is rookie, which consists of mostly the high school. The next one up is short season, which consists of mostly the college draft picks, plus those that prevailed at rookie and got moved up. And then the low A is next, which he says this is the make or break it year for a player, because this is when the organizations will decide if they want to invest any further in you as a player. And then high A is next, and this is where he says that you see the biggest difference in talent, because only the best of the best from the 3 lowest levels make it to this level. And then double A is next, which the main difference here is that the players are just more consistent. And then AAA is the highest minor league level, and a lot of these guys have big league experience where they will flip back and forth if they're not on the 25-man starting roster or a permanent player on the major league team. And I have printed out the minor league map for the Texas Rangers. And here is rookie ball, which is usually located at or near the spring training facility for the. And then short season, low A, high A, and then the major league team. And as you can see, the AAA is usually located closest to the major league team, just so the players are more accessible if they are ever needed. And also there's a trend that or up the minor league levels, you're getting closer to the major league team. And natural progression even within the levels themselves, but it really depends on the depth of the talent within the organization, because in the amount that they have in their lower levels. And to further explain that, a player in organization A could move up one level at a time because they have so many talented players, but that same player in organization B could maybe jump a level or two because they don't have as many of players that have that high skill, so there isn't as much competition. So the logistics of baseball are a lot more complicated and dependent on which organization you're with than most people would assume. But one thing that is independent of any organization, because it's true for every player, and that is they have to get into the minors, they have to sign a contract with one organization, and they have to work their way through the minors to get to that goal of the majors. So the next time you hear about a player getting called up to the majors and you think, do they even deserve to be playing Major League Baseball? I've been there myself many times. Check out MLB.com or BaseballReference.com, because both sites have the beginnings of those careers on there that will clear everything up. And not only will those sites get you acquainted with the players that are playing, but it will also get you acquainted with the process as a whole of our favorite sport of Major League Baseball.